If a person has a great attitude and puts forth a strong effort, and for some reason doesn't get the output, that's okay, and we're going to work with them. We're going to train, we're going to support, we're going to coach, we're going to mentor, we're going to help them get it done. There's a good attitude and a solid effort deserves that.
And the effort is managed by their productivity based on a benchmark.
Yeah. How many dials did you make? Really? Now,
How many days you show up and how many dials you make.
yeah, exactly. Because one of the big problems was attendance at the time. People weren't showing up for work. Anyone have attendance problems in their BEC? Nobody?
They must not be doing anything there.
We had
just showing up and
yep.
getting paid.
We have major attendance problems in ours. No attendance problems anywhere else in the business, in the company, but all over the place there. And so, by the way, something I neglected to tell you, the prior manager had suggested as by way of attracting a better quality person for the job that we increase the pay. We gave 20% increase in the base pay of the job. But we still have all these problems, so throwing more money at it didn't help. So, you have to have good attitude, you've got to put forth the effort, and the output will come, is what we believe. And by the way, if a person's got a good attitude and gets the output without putting forth the effort, fine. Some people can do that, you know. We've all met people who are wizards who can just have extreme.
Then we just try to figure out what the heck they're doing and see if we can make a system out of it.
Right? All right? Yeah, exactly. Although the better system is good attitude, good effort will yield good output. So we explained this all to them, and their eyes lit up like, wow. So you mean it's not like if I don't hit my goal each week, I'm in jeopardy of losing my job? Well, it's not that simple. If you have a good attitude and you put forth a good effort, then you don't really have to worry about the output. We'll help you with that. And so now we got them what we're aiming to do, which ultimately worked, was to stop worrying about how many appointments they got that day and just worry about managing their attitude and their effort. Have a good attitude and put forth the effort. Have a good attitude and put forth the effort. Just stay focused on that. Okay? So, we sat back in our office and we thought about all the problems and we heard all of their stories and how they felt dejected and unappreciated and beat up and battered and bruised. And again, thought that maybe we can rehabilitate this, but maybe we can't. If we can't, they'll all have to leave, I guess. Because we can't have that. We really can't have that kind of cancer here in the organization. So
It's not fair to the people doing the job. I mean, they're unhappy. Why would we? And it's unproductive. Why would we keep it there?
Right. It's bad for them, bad for us, bad for everybody to end it. So we sat back and we thought about, we said, you know, we should consider totally rebranding the department. And we did. We came up with a new name for the department. And then we brought in, then we came up with this protocol, things we wanted them to do every day. Okay? Designed to help them specifically manage attitude and effort, not necessarily output. We simplified their pay plan. We simplified their workflow processes. Okay? And we took that guy, Jason, and we put him in charge as a supervisor of that department. And we said, we gave them 2 levels of goals, by the way. We gave them individual goals and we gave them team goals. And if they hit their individual goals, they hit levels of bonus. And if the team hits its goal, everyone in the team gets another level of bonus, tied back to how many appointments they set. So they were invested not just in themselves, but in each other. And motivated to help each other. They wanted to, what had never happened before is nobody ever wanted to see someone else hit their goal. They didn't care. Because there was no purpose, there was no charter, there was no mission, and there was no incentive for the other person in the department to hit their goal.
There was no team.
And so we rebuilt and reset all of this. And we set them out. That Friday, we brought everyone in front of at our company meeting. We brought everyone in. We told everyone that we actually had the fronters stay outside. And we told everyone that the fronters no longer work here. Everyone was shocked. And we had them march and them reintroduce themselves with their new brand, their new name, talk about their new mission, their new charter, and present themselves for the first time as a new team. Same old people. Next week, they went out and got us 65 appointments. We had never done 50. And we had been told it was impossible. Fluke? Let's see. We buckled down, we trained, we improved, we went out and they did 70. We created new layers, new tiers, we expanded the pay plan, added fun incentives, told them if they could get to 75 at any point during the week, they could go home for the rest of that week and have the rest of the week off paid. And they did it.
On Monday.
No, the first time they did it was Friday at 2 o'clock. So they got 3 hours. They did it again like 2 weeks later, and they did it on Thursday at lunchtime, by Thursday at lunchtime. Each week, it got better and better. The team got closer, became like a rock. Our vision, when we created the new brand and the new charter, what we wanted to do, we wanted to create a department that other people in the company would actually want to work in. We wanted other people in the company to be envious of this department. And you know what's funny? Within a month, we had a prize. Every week they had a prize. They had a stretch goal. If they hit that stretch goal, they'd get another prize. We sent them to the movies. We gave MyTunes gift cards, Publix, the grocery store, gift cards, a dinner with Jim and Travis. We took them all out to Rocco's Tacos one night, you can imagine. It was fun. It was a good time. Dominic, you were at Rocco's Tacos, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And you know what? We actually created a problem for ourselves. Other people in other departments were like complaining because they were getting to go home early and they were getting all these cool prizes and stuff. And they were getting all this recognition. We actually had to tone it down a bit. That was August. Now it's April. I will tell you that they've done more than 50 every single week since then. They've never missed the goal since we started it, since that week after we took it over. And since handed it over, we no longer run it personally. We ran it for 6 weeks. We tweaked, refined, we updated the scripts, but all of that came secondarily to, what I tell you, the 80% of the change was what happened in their heads, in their minds, with the same people. And so
Simplification,
there,
process.
one of the things that led us to the conclusions that we came to was this. A few weeks before the meltdown happened, when they quit, we hired a young girl, maybe she was 21, 22, and she started, and she came in. Remember, the goal was to set 2 appointments each day, and no one did that. Set 2 appointments a day, each day, 5 days a week, get 10 a week. And that couldn't be done. Well, this girl, her name was Morgan, she showed up, and on her first day, she did 3 appointments. And on our second day, she did 3 appointments. And we were pleased about that, but we didn't make too big of a deal out of it, other than the fact that, hey, that's interesting, someone can actually do this. So when we were in the room trying to figure out, trying to strategize how to pull this thing together, how to make it work.
The third day, one of the other newer members stood up and told her out loud in front of everybody that this job really sucks. And then after that, she stopped getting leads. No, she didn't stop getting leads, but it was definitely not good for morale.
And so we sat back and we asked ourselves, we said, okay, selves, what was the deal with Morgan? Because that was a black swan event to us. Because no one had done that. Why can a person with no sales experience, no training, she got on the phone the first morning she showed up, come in and outperform the people who have been doing this for a couple of years and people who have sales background? What did she have that they didn't? This is what led us to our conclusions, the triad of impact. She had a friendly speaking voice and she had a positive attitude. That was it. Would you guys, people who know Morgan, would you agree? Yeah. She only worked for us for a couple of months. She left. But she was a nice girl, had a friendly voice, positive attitude. And with that, she got results. So we said, well, then what's holding back the other people? Not on the list, we're on this, we called too many times, the script, this, a million reasons why it's not working. But the girl with the friendly voice and a positive attitude gets the job done. That's what led us to say, you know what? Have a positive attitude, manage your effort appropriately. Now, what happened through, we made a couple of technical innovations, and simplified the process, but mostly improved mindset and attitude. We used to push for, we originally, when Lorenzo was doing it, we pushed for 200 dials a day. At some point, we started settling for $160 a day, and weren't really getting that, okay? We kept lowering the bar. We always wanted 50. At some point, we said, you know, we have to let go of this 50 because the team's never hitting their goal, and it's demoralizing, so let's lower the goal to 35. Well, they couldn't do 35 either, so it continued to be demoralizing. It was crazy, okay? Now, it's commonplace for an individual on this team, by the way, they're no longer called fronters, it's commonplace for an individual on this team to touch 250 records. A day. 250. 250. We have fewer people now doing the job than we did then. So as people have left, we haven't replaced them. But we're outputting more appointments. So, let's take a minute. I want to play a video. We decided, as we were preparing to tell you guys this story,
that you might think it's unbelievable.
So, we weren't even in the office. We had Mason and Shannon go up and get this team in a room and just roll the camera and ask them questions. Let's hear their story about what happened. I want to hear what they have to say.
So when you came on board, what was your title?
Fronter.
So what does that mean to you when you got your fronter? What does that mean?
To me, what it meant, fronter meant that I was going to be making cold calls all day long.
I thought the same thing. I'm going to be sitting on the phone all day making cold calls to people I don't know.
And it was just a job.
I got frustrated. It can be very negative.
I still came to work. I got paychecks at the end of the week. That was the main reason for coming.
Bottom line, I needed a job. I was going to do the best I could, make it what it was.
How would you describe your job to someone?
Terrible.
Oh no, I haven't hit these goals. I'm gonna get fired. What's gonna happen to me?
This was the motivating factor. Who's going to get me my next one?
Where's my next lead? Where's my next this?
At this point, I don't know if it's on the camera now, but I was just like, one day I came to work and I was just like, I'm fed up with this. You know, you keep it rolling, it doesn't matter.
And were you hitting those goals?
Overall, no.
It was said to Jim and Travis, getting 50 leads is impossible. Can't get 50 leads, so I don't know why you expect this. So they lowered it to 35, and we didn't even get 35.
The energy wasn't there.
Now we're getting way more than 50 on a weekly basis, so obviously it can be done.
But we get 50 in 2 days.
Now it's like, no, you know what? Like, we got this. We've done it before. We can do it again.
What changed?
Well, first of all, the first thing that changed was recognition.
It places value. It makes you feel like you're contributing to the success of gravitational marketing.
I feel like our job is really important at gravitational marketing.
It's a good reminder. It's a good motivational reminder. We're the first people that some of these members speak to. We're the first voice.
Us having a name for ourselves, I think it just brought us closer as a team.
Crystal said it best. She said when she first started, everyone was for themselves.
Yep.
And she said now we're all big brothers and big sisters, little brothers, little sisters, all working together. She said it best. We're a family. Being able to change someone's life, that's impacting, and that's ESB to me.
This job, no exaggeration, is probably the best job I've ever had.
I'd be scared to leave. I'd be scared to find something even close.
I've told my friends like what I do, and everyone's like, oh, how do we get a job there? How do we do this?
ESB starts with a single call. But it's not just any company, it's gravitational marketing.
That was cheesy.
I think we're good, guys.
I want you to stand up if you would like to see your BDC transform today. So, here's what we're doing about it. Jason is not for hire. We invited Jason to be here today to sit here and tell us about it, but he's ill, unfortunately. The important thing I want you to realize here, and this is true about so much of what we do, and it frustrates people, and I know that it frustrates people, but the transformation in that department did not come from changing scripts or changing processes or changing technology. The transformation in that department came from changing their hearts and their minds.
And that's harder than changing scripts and technology.
That's right. And I will tell you what we came to the conclusion of with the whole BDC thing. There's been so many trainers and people passed around, and it hurts me to see people I know have had the trainers come in over the years but are still struggling. So what did the trainer leave behind? Processes and scripts, but it's not enough. And it wasn't enough for us either, because we had intelligent people who knew how to do this theoretically, who couldn't make the impact. It took us to make the impact. So the conclusion was that what these people needed was love and attention from us. And a mission from us. And so people have been asking for years for us to create something for the BDC. And we've been resistant to it, because I don't just want to give you another packet of scripts or send another person out there to help hook up your phones and computers. I wanted to give you something bigger. And when we made this transformation for ourselves last fall, we realized instantly, this is what they need. This is the transformation that needs to happen. Now, exactly how to make that happen, I don't have all the details yet, but here's how we're going to begin. Everyone is invited. Every one of you is invited at the August meeting on the Sunday, the day before the meeting, to come a day early and bring a BDC manager, your top BDR, whoever it is, the person that's day-to-day running that department for you. Come a day early. And we're going to spend a day together. And we're going, in that day, to attempt to infuse and start to begin this change. And at that time also, have available a way to continue that infusion. Okay? But that day is complimentary. Okay? So if you want to come, spend another day with us, and have the person from your BDC spend a day with us, then be our guest, and let's do it. Whatever the date is, the Sunday before the next meeting. Okay? Who thinks that sounds like a good idea? Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it's a nice, natural way to begin. We've got a registration form that's going to come around. This is just selecting if you're going to come, if they're going to come, who's going to come. A couple of things about this. I know that you guys like to drag your feet registering for this, and like everyone registers for the meeting like 2 weeks before the meeting. I don't think that that's a good idea here for a couple of reasons. One is that, believe it or not, this hotel runs out of rooms. Okay, so we have a room block for this meeting because we can anticipate how many rooms we're going to need. We're not going to extend that room block to cover for this because we're on the hook financially if we don't fulfill that room block. Okay, this is a gift. I don't feel like having $30,000 in rooms hanging out on the line in case this doesn't come together. So,
yeah, and if there's no interest, then no physical interest,
yeah,
like no forms, then we're not going to have it.
we're not going to have it, which is fine. It's free. Okay? Register quickly and book your rooms quickly so that we make sure that you have hotel rooms. Okay? We're going to go ahead and reserve the meeting room space ahead of time, anticipating that there will be at least some group who does this. If you bring the person's invited to stay with you through the Rich Killers meeting, or they can go home that night, whatever, your choice. We'll begin at around 9 a.m. and we'll go till 3 or 4 in the afternoon. We're going to reveal the missing link. There's some things that we didn't completely reveal here.
Because they take longer to go into.
That it could take a few hours to really explain. And we're going to reveal those missing links at that meeting. And then we're going to do some roundtabling, panel discussion, back and forth like we do here, best practices to learn from each other. Okay? And then we're going to talk about how that group can stay connected going into the future with us.
And so, the vision for this in the future is going to, it is going to be